Most of us know yoga to be a slow and steady exercise where the teachers make you hold postures while singing numbers. Hold for 3, 2, and 1 might take a decade to arrive. Some of us know that it could also be a great workout catering to your mobility, flexibility, and strength needs through practices such as Vinyasa Yoga. Let me change this extremely hollow view of yoga and help you dive deeper into this ancient practice. Especially get your foundation strong so that advancing in your yogic journey is clearer and smoother instead of haphazard and disingenuous. Yoga means connection, but I have explained that enough earlier. I sound like a broken record. Now let's delve into the different paths of yoga so that you can take a path that resonates with you the most. Now, all the classical paths of yoga, and I'm only talking about the classical ones which I'll soon cover. I'm not talking about the new age beer yoga and goat yoga and AK-47 yoga. How does even beer yoga work? I am not sure. You're holding Warrior 2 with a glass of beer in your hand while going through correct alignment. Do you drink the beer on an inhale or on an exhale? The founder of beer yoga, please explain it to me. Anyhow, all the classical paths of yoga lead towards liberation. If you are spiritually inclined, this could mean enlightenment. If you are of a non-spiritual inclination, liberation could mean financial freedom or achieving your purpose in life. Ancient yogic texts won't mention the non-spiritual inclination part, but I want to make yoga accessible for everyone. For people coming through all walks of life, spiritual or non-spiritual. There are 6 major paths of yoga: rajyog, Dhyan yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Tantra Yoga, and Hatha Yoga. I should count like this, I think. This way of counting is much better. In this video, I will explain Rajyog, which is also called the king of all yogas. All other parts of yoga demand their individual dedicated videos. In Sanskrit, Raj means king or royal, referring to the status of Rajyog as the principal or royal path of yoga. According to Rajyog, the definition of yoga and the goal of yoga is the same, which is to tie the strands of the mind together. In simple words, it means unification of the mind, which ties with the gross definition of yoga, which means connection. The simplified and practical application of this is to develop complete mind control. Every form of suffering for everyone is mind related, and Raj Yoga offers a systematic approach to resolve the problems of the mind. This path of yoga can be applicable for absolutely everyone since the problems of the mind are universal in nature. Now let's talk about the systematic approach that Raj Yoga offers. Raj Yoga is equated to the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, which is the foundational and most important text on yogic philosophy. Patanjali Yoga Sutra talks about the eightfold path to liberation. Hence, Raj Yoga is also interchangeably called Ashtang Yoga. Ashtang means 8 limbs, and just like each and every limb, all of them need to be worked on equally. It's like in the gym. You won't always be doing your upper body workout. Actually, a lot of people do that. You won't always be just doing your butt and legs. A lot of people also do that. You have to eventually work on all aspects of the body. Now, some of the limbs that I will describe in detail might come easily to you. However, make sure that you're gradually working towards improving the rest also. For example, Asan practice might come naturally to a lot of people. Keep honing it, keep improving your strengths, but also work towards enhancing the other limbs because you want this system to grow as a whole. The first limb is Yam. Yam means restraint. Restraint from actions, words, thoughts, or gestures which might cause harm. There are 5 Yam or Yamas as it's called in the English language, adding an A after everything. Asana, Pranayama. So, Yamas or 5 Yam, and the number 1, and rightly so, is ahimsa, or to be non-harming, or to be as peaceful as you can. Walking barefoot on grass can be violent for some. Eating ethically sourced meats could be peaceful for others. So at your end, try to be as peaceful as you can. Number 2 is satya, which literally translates as true essence or true nature. It also means pure and unchangeable. More than verbal and written communication, it is also right communication through your gestures and thoughts. That, for example, if you don't agree with your boss or your date, you don't mindlessly need to nod your head. You can politely say no. Polite being the key word. This is another key concept of yoga, that the truth needs to be kind. Ahimsa needs to have satya. But just for the sake of kindness, we should not disregard the truth either. Number 3 is asteya or non-stealing. But what should you not steal? The Kohinoor? If yes, then the British never gave a shit. Should you? First, understand that it is not just objects that are stolen. You can steal someone's time, you can copy someone's content word for word, you can even steal from yourself by keeping or taking stuff that you don't need. Even if you're denying yourself the resources to reach your full potential, then also you're stealing from yourself. Next comes Brahmacharya. Brahma means infinite and Charya means to move. So in essence, it means moving towards infinity. The practical application of this is to detach ourselves from immaterial things and focus on the larger picture. Now, what can be immaterial for you? It could be pleasuring yourself when you see a hot girl on Instagram. It could be smoking up all day, every day. It could be anything which might seem pleasurable in the short term but is toxic in the long term. Now, what can be your bigger picture? It could be liberation if you're spiritual. It could be to make the world a better place, or it could be your purpose in life. The last yam is aparigraha. Parigraha means to possess, and the A at the start negates this definition. So in essence, aparigraha means non-possessiveness or non-attachment. It means that you don't seek someone's attention or something is not an addiction for you to maintain your sanity. But why should you care? A sense of non-attachment from human relationships or material things keeps you free, keeps you independent, and most importantly, keeps you sane. Now, this does not mean that you call your boyfriend and break up over a video you saw on YouTube. It means you stay connected without developing attachment. Understand that attachment arises from a desire for things to remain the same, but everything is constantly changing. Hence, an attitude of attachment will eventually cause separation, leading to a bad trip. Instead, maintain connections by being in a flow state, always positively evolving, and letting go of anything that holds you back. Now let's come to the second limb, which is niyam. Niyam means duty or observance which one needs to maintain to live a virtuous life. Just like yam, niyam also has 5 of these. The number one being shauch. Shauch literally means purity or cleanliness. Its interpretation is purification of the physical body, the mind, and the environment around us. We can purify our system by maintaining personal hygiene, eating clean nutrition, and doing regular exercise. Keep our external environment clean by not mindlessly littering away. But what about the mind? Is there a shampoo and conditioner that can cleanse it? Any practice such as Asan, Pranayama, Dhyan, which helps to unfog the mind and develop control over it, can be your mental cleanser. The second niyam is santosh, which literally translates as content. Not the trending reels and read caption below garbage that is filled in your feed. Content as in satisfied with where you are in life. Does it mean that you can sit on your couch all day, every day, get high, that I am content, I am practicing santosh, nothing will happen to me? Hell no. That is a state of tamas or lethargy. Santosh is more of a sattvic or a balanced state that you peacefully acknowledge that currently I might be a piece of manure, but now how can I peacefully and positively move forward from here? The third niyam is tapas, which means to burn, but do not set yourself on fire just yet. Hear me out. To burn interprets as any discipline pursued with a fiery enthusiasm which leads to a form of self-induced suffering. This could mean consistently hitting the gym, regular reps on stage as a stand-up comic, or countless hours spent on editing as a content creator. This self-induced suffering removes impurities from the system which could show up in the form of a leaner physique, tighter jokes, and cleaner videos. It also helps us to accept suffering, so when an uninduced suffering happens, we don't feel alienated to the situation. So stick with your tapasya to get crisper at your craft and well prepared against pain. The fourth niyam is swadhyay. Swa means self and dhyay means study. Combine the two and you get self-study. But why do you need to study yourself? You have so many things to contemplate on. Alia Bhatt's wedding, Alia Bhatt's lehenga, who got invited, who didn't. Studying yourself helps us to understand what we are not, what aspects should we release to approach our genuine selves, and what aspects should we rigorously hone to reach our true potential. Essentially, it is the search for the truth through introspection. The fifth and final niyam is Ishwar Pranidhan. Ishwar means higher power and Pranidhan means to surrender. Combine the two and you get the practice of surrendering to the higher power. Let me clarify what the higher power is. Higher power is something that makes you humble, dissolves your belief that you are the goat. For a religious person, the higher power can be God. Offerings done in the name of God, such as rightful actions laid down by that respective religion, will be Ishwar Pranidhan for that religious person. For a non-religious person, the higher power can be their art form. So Diljit Dosanjh devoting his entire body of work towards music can be Ishwar Pranidhan for him. But why should you follow this concept and become a devotee or a bhakt? It has such a wrong connotation to it. Surrendering to the higher power lets us release expectations that we have from the outcome. That if we are true to our devotion, the higher power has got our back. This letting go of expectations helps us to move towards liberation. Liberation from the attachment that expectations bring. Before moving on to the next limbs, I just want to emphasize that following these yams and niyams is bound to improve your relationship with others and yourself. With falling temperatures and more clothes, let's come to the third limb, which means Asan or posture. Most people get introduced to yoga through Asan practice only, which is completely fine. The problem arises when you limit all of yoga, which is an ocean of knowledge, into just performing fancy postures, wearing slick yoga pants. The essence of an Asan is to be steady and comfortable in a posture. However, most of us are so stiff that we cannot even sit for 15 minutes with our spine straight. Sometimes the back is paining, sometimes the knees are hurting, sometimes the neck is itching. Now, how can you control the mind if there is so much going on with your physical self? So through Asan practice, we need to make our bodies flexible, strong and mobile to eliminate disease that comes from sedentary living. Hence, this limb is intended to keep your physical system healthy, because an unhealthy system is an hindrance towards your spiritual journey. Even for non-spiritual people, in case your goal is to achieve financial freedom or achieve your purpose in life, you want a healthy system so that day in, day out, you can get shit done. The next limb is Pranayama. Pran means vital life force and Ayam means to enhance. So breathing practices that enhance this vital life force is pranayama. Pran, or the vital life force, is the cosmic force which drives all actions in this world, voluntary or involuntary. Without pran, nothing moves, nothing happens. If non-spiritual, consider pran to be the breath. Without the breath also, nothing functions within your system. If the quality and quantity of your breathing is not adequate, say for example you breathe too fast and too erratically, then you will constantly stimulate your sympathetic nervous system, which will stimulate a fight or flight response in the system, in turn making you anxious. If you overbreathe because you breathe in through the mouth, then also you will notice similar anxious effects. Further, if done over prolonged periods, then you might develop respiratory problems such as sleep apnea. So through pranayama, we must learn how to regulate this vital life force to suit our purpose and improve our overall well-being. By suiting our purpose, I mean breathing to become active, say before a workout, relaxed before we sleep, or peacefully alert when we want to get shit done. If we correctly and consistently perform pranayama, we also improve our cardiorespiratory fitness, making us a better athlete, improve our focus and reduce stress, hence improving our overall well-being. Pratyahar is the fifth limb in this 8-limb system, which comes from the root prati, which means to withdraw, and ahar, which means food. Food in the sense any external stimuli that consumes the mind. Put them together and pratyahar means withdrawal of the senses. Pratyahar serves as a foundation for meditation. The experience of pratyahar is the ability to disengage the mind by controlling its reaction towards external disturbances. During pratyahar, your sense organs still detect external stimulation, such as that pataka sound that comes from your West Delhi friend's Bolt. I don't know why that is still in fashion. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm one of those people that used to walk 5 kilometers to school every day. Or that hing, lal mirch and jeera tadka that your mom is making in the kitchen as you meditate in your room. I'm absolutely gutted why people are still adding hing in their dal. It has absolutely no use. I think asafoetida should be banned. There should be a cancel culture particularly devoted towards cancelling hing, and I will be the leader of that culture. However, these external stimuli do not disrupt the state of your mind. This step correctly comes after asana and pranayama so that you can get rid of your physical pains, get your breathing in order, so that withdrawing of the senses is a more natural progression. This natural progression will then seamlessly move you towards a state of dharna or concentration, which is also the 6th limb in this 8-limb system. Dharna means to concentrate. The goal of dharna is to bind your consciousness to one place, one object or one idea. Focusing your attention on one thing helps to quieten the mind by closing off a path for other thoughts to seep in. This object of concentration could be a candlelight, could be the center of your eyebrows, or could be the breath you take. It's not so important what the object of concentration is. I've seen a few people that, sir, I will only meditate when there is a full moon in the sky. Even if there are clouds covering that full moon, I will not meditate. That makes absolutely no sense. The object doesn't really matter. As long as you're able to meet the purpose, which is to concentrate, you are fine. In essence, training your mind to meditate is called dharna. Most of us are doing dharna when we think we are sitting down to meditate. Well, if that is the case, then what the hell is meditation? Well, meditation is the next limb. Dhyan or meditation is the 7th limb of yoga. As we now know that concentration is dharna, the culmination of this concentration is what is called dhyan or meditation. Dhyan or meditation doesn't immediately happen. It's only when you're able to concentrate on one particular object and then sustain your concentration there for prolonged periods, that is the state of dhyan or meditation. In essence, dharna and dhyan are inseparable. Although the state of dhyan is difficult to achieve, it shouldn't be disheartening to anyone. Any great thing such as a profitable business, a fulfilling long-term relationship, or a leaner physique all come with their fair share of tapasya. So keep doing your dharna and dhyan will eventually happen. Now one question might pop up to the attentive listeners and the curious people and the skeptics, those who are just listening and absorbing that we will absorb from here and we will absorb from there. This question might not come to you. To the others who are skeptics, who question everything, the question is so much build up for this question. Here it is finally. How do we know if we are in a state of meditation or dhyan? There are some clear signs for that. Say for example, you sat to meditate at 7 a.m. for 1 hour and at 8 a.m. the alarm clock rings, cuckoo, or whatever alarm ringtone people are setting these days. I think cuckoo no one is setting, but you get the point. At 8 a.m. you feel like only a few minutes have passed. In that case, you might have been meditating. And this doesn't just hold for sitting and meditating. Notice the next time when you're killing on stage as a stand-up comic, you will notice time fly. Or educating as a yoga teacher, time just flies. You feel that there is no concept of time. I'm just floating in this space, in this cosmos, in this universe, and I'm enjoying it. Let me be. In that case, you are meditating. In the moment, it might not be clear, but after the moment has passed, it will be crystal clear to you that you are in a meditative state. Now in the same example, if you sat at 7 a.m. to meditate for an hour and a full 3 minutes have passed, 180 seconds according to my astute mathematical calculations, and you feel an eternity has passed. People have given births, people have died, Hitler came, Hitler went, there is some other new tyrant that is on the scene now. If everything has happened, but it's only 3 minutes, then you might still be in the process of meditating. You still might be in the process of concentrating. Now let's come to the eighth and final limb, which is Samadhi. There are a couple of theories about the origin of the word Samadhi, but more or less they are the same. The term Samadhi may be a derivative of the root samadha, which means to come together or unite together, meaning unification of the mind, which ties in with the goal and definition of yoga as per rajyog. Another derivative of the word Samadhi comes from the root sama, which means equal, and dhi, which means consciousness, implying unification between the yoga practitioner and the object of meditation. Before moving further, a disclaimer here. I'm too young in my yogic journey, as you can see. I'm just like 23 years old. Like 31, 23, 31, like one and the same thing. The disclaimer is that I'm too young in my yogic journey to experience this state of Samadhi. So all the information here is going to be theoretical and not practical. I've also discussed it with my teachers and all of them say that the state of Samadhi is beyond the intellect and the mind. Hence putting it in words won't do it justice. Nonetheless, I will try my best in explaining this concept. Let's explain it through a non-shitty example. I don't want to make it a shitty example that the window has opened and the light will come on your face and then you will experience Samadhi and Dhyan, like all that bullshit examples surrounding yoga. Let's take a less bullshit example. It's still going to have some shit. Some shit is good for you. It acts as manure. It makes your plants healthier. So please listen to me. Say for example, you're meditating and you're meditating on a candlelight. You are in the zone. You're not doing dharna. You're not doing pratyahar. You're not thinking about the girl that dumped you. You're in the zone, you're focusing on the candlelight. Still, in the state of meditation, you and the candlelight are two different things. These are 4, are two different things. This is 6, are two different things. When you experience the state of Samadhi, the observer and the observed become the same. They share the same consciousness. If you are spiritual, this will make sense that there is a soul in each one of us and then there is a supreme soul, the source from where all this originated around us. As a spiritual being, we might be aware of this theoretically. Samadhi will be our practical experience of this realization for people who are non-spiritually inclined and only want to deal with the practical and comprehensible information that Rajyog has to offer. Keep practicing the first 7 limbs. If you think of it philosophically, logically, and if you correctly and consistently practice it, you will see improvement in your overall physical, mental, and social well-being. Irrespective of your inclination, spiritual or non-spiritual, this state is not actively or consciously achieved. In the words of Sri Swami Sachidanand, you put all your effort in dharna. In dhyan, that effort becomes effortless. But in samadhi, you don't even know that. You are not there to know because you are that. With this now, I will end the video. Hopefully you have much more clarity on Rajyog and you have all the tools in your repertoire I always wanted to say that in a video. Now is the time. Hopefully you have all the tools in your repertoire, I said it again, to improve your physical, mental and spiritual well-being. Having access to the tools, however, doesn't guarantee improvement. Correctly and regularly using them will. So keep practicing and always remember that yoga is a practice, not just a gig.